Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. Goldbridge on tour. I've got to see where the camera is. Okay, so let's start off with the latest Manchester United transfer news, and we've got quite a lot to get into this morning. I'll talk about where I am in a minute, but let's get into the news. Just trying to figure out where the camera is that I've got to look at. I'm looking at the piece of paper above you. So we're going to start off with the first Manchester United transfer signing. This is the big story this morning, the developments around Kamara from Marseille. We were talking about this yesterday. We were meant to have Romano on yesterday. Fabrizio Romano will be on at lunchtime. We will be interviewing him, asking him a lot of things. But what we're going to be talking about today is Kamara, Milinkovic-Savic, Cavani. Who else are we going to be talking about? There's a few people we want to talk about as well. Julian Alvarez, who is a talented attacker from Argentina that we're getting linked to. Lots and lots to talk about this morning. And of course, Manchester United back in training, football clubs playing football. The Premier League meeting yesterday went well. They want to keep playing over Christmas. This is fantastic news. We need the football continuing, and we need Man United back. It's good for our mental health. It's good for it's good for the game. We don't want to get into a situation we were in a couple of years ago. And also the fact that fans in the ground is hopefully going to continue. That may change. The UK situation is, changeable. We're not in a lockdown or anything yet, but that could change. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. So very good news that Man United are back in training. Let's hope that can continue. But in relation to what I was talking about at the start, we are getting linked to quite a lot of players now. I think this January transfer window is going to be a huge January transfer window. And I do think that how we approach it is sounding very, very positive. Bit of an update on Cavani in a little bit, but let me just talk about this Kamara story. So Kamara to Manchester United is developing pace, but I would say it's developing pace as much as Hadara is in relation to the Leipzig player. Lots of sources talking about Kamara. We had Samuel Lucas in the Manchester Evening News yesterday saying that Manchester United are willing to back Rangnick in the transfer window and a midfielder is the priority. These are the sort of stories that don't confirm we're buying anybody, but the sort of stories that give you hope. And I don't want to be classed as an in the know because I don't do that, and I didn't actually get any information about this when I mentioned it a week ago. I said, I think we're going to buy a midfielder in January, and I think we'll see a couple of players go. I don't know who those couple of players are going to be. We heard yesterday that Lingard might run his contract down. There's a bit about Cavani to talk, but I do think a couple of players will go, and I do think one midfielder will come in because I think Rangnick is working on fast play. He's trying to get things done quickly, and I think we will bring a midfielder in. So Kamara, look, there has been some stories about him replacing Kessie at AC Milan. There is interest in Kamara from Marseille. He's a young midfielder with lots of potential. He's the sort of player I'd expect Leicester to buy, like they bought Samari, like they bought Ndidi in the past and Kante, and turn them into a top midfielder. I'd love to see United go for a player like this. Do I think we'll get him? I think if we want to get him, we can get him. Rangnick is going to be very persuasive, very intriguing. Manchester United's a very interesting project at the moment. And with 6 months left on his contract, as I said a few days ago, I think Marseille would take reasonable money for him. Nature bridge. There's all sorts of nature going on here, which is nice. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens with Kamara, but certainly keep your eye on it. And there is talk of an early January signing. So I don't know. I think that'd be interesting as well to discuss, because I think in the past we've had discussion about United buying players, and they've taken their time to buy these players, and then it happens at the end of January. You end up dropping points on that journey. So I think if we can get something done quickly around a Kamara or a midfielder, I'm quite excited. And as I said, I think that story from Manchester Evening News yesterday confirming that United are willing to back Rangnick and are looking at a midfielder, and we know that there are midfielders that you can go for in January. We're not buying Declan Rice. There's a player I want to bring up into the story, Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, who I probably haven't mentioned on this channel seriously since the days of Jose. And Mourinho definitely wanted Milinkovic-Savic, and he was tearing it up at that time. Probably about 23. I think he's 26, 27 now. More of an attacking midfielder. Got a lot of goals and assists in a particular 18 months for Lazio. Now probably more of a midfielder. Very big, powerful. I don't know where this link is coming from for Milinkovic-Savic. He's still got a contract till 2024. It's a player that we were linked to heavily under Mourinho. Ollie wasn't in for him. Rangnick might be in for him. I mean, the thing about Rangnick is you can't dismiss anything. We can't sit here with any sense of authority and go, yeah, we're definitely not buying that player. But I don't think United are going for Milinkovic-Savic. It's interesting that it's coming from the Italian sources. We certainly will need to ask Romano about it at lunchtime, but I don't see Milinkovic-Savic. as the sort of player that I would go for, and I think he would be quite expensive as well. And I think when we're looking at the January transfer window, certainly that type of a player is not what we're going to go for. You know, the Declan Rice, if people somehow believe we're going to get an Ndidi, that's not going to happen either. So I think there are options in the midfield in January, but you're looking at the Hedera at Leipzig, the Kamara at Marseille, and maybe a couple of others that we're not even aware of that Rangnick might be interested in. I mean, there might be, hopefully, and I'd be very excited. I don't know loads about Kamara. I don't know loads about Hedera. You know, there could be another name that comes in the next few days that we don't really know much about, and we go, oh, he's exciting. You know, there might be an up-and-coming midfielder from Sevilla, or, you know, somewhere in Portugal or something like that. You know, who knows? And that's the brilliance of Rangnick, is that he not only plays football differently to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but he scouts differently to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's used to bringing in these first or second contract players and, you know, developing players. So I think it's going to be very interesting. I'm very excited to see what's going to happen. And as I say, maybe Kamara will be our first signing. But the thing for me is, we've got football back. Fantastic. We're also going to have a very interesting January transfer window. So let's bring it on. And I think amongst that, you are going to get stories that are maybe not true, which I just want to talk about Julian Alvarez, who you might not know anything about. I'm not going to pretend I know loads about him either. Argentinian, we have been linked to him by a couple of outlets over the last 24 hours. I don't really know anything about him, really. I know the name. I think he's 21, 22, plays for River Plate, can play wide, can play through the middle. Got quite a good goals to game ratio in Argentina, looking to make that move to Europe, links to Bayern Munich, links to Spain, links to Manchester United. Again, I don't think you can rule it out. I think if this was under the... Hello, Mr. Crow. I'm up in the north. But I think you can't rule anything out, but you've also got to be suspicious in relation to United get linked to everybody. Is this a South American player being linked to Manchester United that we're just ultimately not going to buy? So I don't know. I mean, look, he could be the next Sergio Aguero. He could be a brilliant, brilliant player in the way that we play. We do want to play with a front two. And if he's got something about him and he does get assists, maybe you're thinking about bringing a player in with Cavani gone in the summer, Martial looking to go, Greenwood and Ronaldo and Rashford. There might be a question mark over, you know, whether Rashford can do it in a front two, creativity-wise. You'd certainly look at having 4 forwards. So, I mean, maybe there is something in it with Alvarez. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe we can talk to Romano about that one. But I just thought I'd drop it in there in case something did come of it, because you just don't know in the world of what Rangnick's going to do. Very exciting. I mean, when we're back training today, this will probably be only his 3rd or 4th training session, really. He's hardly trained the team at all. So, nice little stretch before we play against Newcastle on the day after Boxing Day, which... let's just wait and see what happens with that. We'll build towards it. I think United will be able to put a team out, but remember, Newcastle are a team that's not had a COVID outbreak yet. So, and as I said, I think it's in their interest. No, it's not in their interest to have a COVID outbreak, but it's in their interest to get to January and buy players, and whether they'll fancy that. But they are the home team, and I think what I would say as an early heads up is that United preview that we do later in the week for the Newcastle game, that we hopefully do, will be very interesting, because we've never had any clarity around Manchester United and who's got COVID, who's isolating, so we don't, and what days they're back. We know that some players got top positive tests a week ago, and therefore they'll be back in training on Thursday after 10 days. We also know some people got positive tests on Wednesday, Thursday last week. Well, they won't be back for the Newcastle game, because 10 days takes you to the Sunday, so I doubt they would be back. So, you know, I don't agree with this. Every club's got the right to do what they want to do, but with Liverpool, Klopp, very open about vaccination rates, but more importantly, very open about who's in and who's out. At United, we don't know. And for me, I don't know why that is, but it would be nice to know, because I think that's a heads up for how difficult that game against Newcastle is going to be, considering we struggled against Norwich, and I think Newcastle are more potent up front, and we might have a few players out. But I'd just be excited to have football back. And one of those players that we would hope to have back is obviously Edison Cavani, who we've been talking about over the last few days in potentially leaving Manchester United. Well, here's a story that's probably a little bit positive. Chris Wheeler in the Daily Mail is saying that Manchester United don't have any intention of letting Cavani go before the summer. And also Gerard Romero, I think he's a Spanish-based journalist, also saying that Cavani to Manchester United, Cavani to Barcelona has effectively cooled off. This would be good news. I mean, I do believe that one of our strikers will go, whether it's Cavani or Martial. I'd be very surprised if both of them went in January. But the Cavani thing for me, yes, he could spend a lot of the rest of this season injured, but we know he's going in the summer anyway. Getting a striker of quality in January will be very difficult. We expected to have Cavani until the summer. I think in the case of Cavani, it would be a shame to lose him in January when, if we keep him till May, it can only be a bonus that you've got a player of that quality to use and utilise till May and then replace in May. And look, in relation to strikers, lots of people talking about lots of strikers, but we had Mino Raiola saying, I think it was yesterday or something, that, you know, Erling Haaland, nothing is done. There is no front runner, there is no agreement, and I certainly think that is the case, and stranger things have happened. Do you want Erling Haaland? I know a lot of you do. Do I want Erling Haaland? No, I don't. I don't really want Mino Raiola clients at Manchester United, but I also realise that that's quite stubborn, considering he has got quite a big pool of players under his wing. Gravenbach is another one at Ajax, who I actually think is a fantastic midfielder. There's a midfielder, but no, I think Mino Raiola is very difficult to deal with, and obviously he's going to do with Haaland what he's going to do with Pogba. He's going to allow a contract to run down to nothing and, you know, play the field, so to speak. So it will be interesting to see what happens. But as I said, I'm very excited about the prospect of Manchester United bringing a midfielder in. And I think that I do think it will happen. And it's funny because I predicted it, a week or two ago. I said, well, it's probably about a week ago, I said, I think we'll get a midfielder in January. That wasn't based on any inside information. That was just based on surveying the situation. New manager, we're weak in the midfield, and I'm not highlighting McTominay and Fred as weak. I think it's a weak area because we've got nobody else, and it's such an important area in any system, certainly in a Rangnick system. But your midfield's really important. What if McTominay or Fred start playing badly again? What if they get injured? You need rotation. What if they get tired? You need rotation and you need competition for places. And we simply don't have that in the midfield. So I think we're in a very easy to predict situation whereby we would be looking to buy a midfielder because we're so short in that area. And it's a priority. It's not a nice to have. It's a priority. And I just thought Rangnick would be saying that to the club, and he'd be saying, look, you know, that's the area we're going to struggle in. And the race for top four, as we were talking about yesterday, has become so interesting. It's funny, I was out playing snooker last night talking to some Spurs fans, and they were saying, what do you think about us? And I said, wow, that game I watched on Sunday is probably the best game I've watched all season. And I thought Spurs were very, very good. But I'm not surprised because that's what you get with Conte. And we've also got Arsenal competitive. Neither of them are going to be playing in Europe now. So United can't afford to snooze on that midfield. And you know, as I said, if McTominay or Fred start playing badly or God forbid, one of them gets injured, watch your midfield too. I would like to see Donny given an opportunity, but, you know, we're threadbare. You've got to have 4 or 5 options in that midfield area. We've got probably 2.5. Matic can only play half a game. And Donny, we're not even totally sure whether that's where he's going to be playing. So bring somebody in, and I think somebody of the profile of a Kamara or a Hedera, who are early 20s, well thought of, scope and potential to go to the next level, reasonably priced. These are the sort of players I think our fan base will be most excited about, because we've done the marquee signings, we've done the Di Marias, we've done the Pogbas, we've done that sort of Harry Maguire, we've done all that. And I think we've been looking over our shoulder at the likes of Leicester's for a while going, well, they're up where we are and they're scouting well, bringing good players in. And I think, is that not what Rangnick is? And I hope it is about that. So Rangnick's first signing could well be coming in early January. I certainly think we're going to make a signing in January. And I think there's lots and lots of uncertainty and intrigue in relation to players leaving the club. So let's wait and see what happens with that. But look, thanks everybody for watching. I am actually on location at the moment filming Goldbridge in the rough. No, I'm not really. I'm taking a couple of days break, but I am around and I will be on the content. So, that's the wonder of modern technology. And, I'm feeling positive as well with the Christmas vibes and the fact that, football is not been cancelled as some people were thinking yesterday, and that the vast majority of the Premier League voted to keep it on. So let's bring it on. Thanks everyone for watching. Please smash a like on the video, especially if you join. This is a green screen background, by the way. It's not really. I'll show you it's not in a moment. But we have got Fabrizio Romano on the show, and he will be on. I think we're live at 1 o'clock for Fabrizio Romano. So I'm just going to take a bit of a shower now. Look, you can't watch that bit. I'll turn it off. Speak to you all in a bit. Thanks for watching. I'd have to take my clothes off as well.